Alien attack and fire unleashed. New York City had always been alive with chaos, the roar of traffic, the chatter of people, and the hum of life that never truly stopped. But on this particular morning, the city felt strangely silent, as if the air itself was holding its breath. Then, without warning, a blinding streak of light tore through the sky, followed by a low, resonating hum that made the buildings tremble. High above, an alien ship, sleek and jagged like a crystal formation, pierced through the clouds. Its surface shimmered with a strange iridescence, reflecting the rising sun in dazzling patterns. From it emerged a towering, menacing figure, Zarnok, a crystalline alien warlord with glowing red eyes and metallic skin that glinted in every shade of fire. In his hands, he wielded a staff that pulsed with pure, combustible energy, capable of setting anything ablaze with a single touch. Zarnok had traveled light years across the galaxy to test the resilience of Earth's defenders, and he had chosen New York City as his stage. Within moments, he began unleashing fire blasts into the streets, turning cars to molten metal and setting buildings ablaze. Sparks and flames danced across the skyline, and the screams of terrified citizens echoed through the avenues as they scrambled for safety. The aliens' attack was both precise and chaotic. Zarnok would point his staff at a crowded street corner, and fire would erupt, forcing civilians to flee in panic. Then he would spin, sending arcs of energy through lampposts and street signs, igniting small fires that quickly spread. The city's fire alarms screamed, but no emergency service could respond fast enough to the scale and intensity of the assault. Far across town, Bruce Banner sensed the disturbance immediately. The chaos, the sheer destructive energy, it called to him. Within seconds, his body began to grow, muscles swelling, bones stretching, and veins pulsing with green energy. In a flash of rage and determination, Bruce transformed into the Hulk, the unstoppable force of nature. His eyes glowed with fury as he surveyed the scene. Flames licked the streets, buildings smoked, and civilians ran for their lives. Without hesitation, Hulk charged through the burning streets, leaping over overturned cars and fallen lampposts. Each step shook the ground, sending smaller fires scattering like sparks in the wind. Citizens looked up in awe and fear, some recognizing the green giant as a protector, others as a monster. But there was no time for hesitation. Hulk had a target, Zarnok, the alien warlord causing chaos and destruction. As Hulk approached, Zarnok noticed the massive figure barreling toward him. "Ah, the famous green monster," the alien snarled, his crystalline skin reflecting the firelight. "Come to play, little Earth brute?" With a swift motion, Zarnok swung his staff, sending a stream of searing fire directly at Hulk. Hulk didn't flinch. The energy blast hit him squarely in the chest, and for a moment the heat threatened to burn his skin. But instead of succumbing, Hulk grabbed the stream of fire, channeling it with his raw strength and letting it cascade harmlessly into the street. Sparks scattered, and a nearby fountain erupted from the heat, sending water high into the air, cooling the immediate area. The battle escalated rapidly. Zarnok unleashed a barrage of energy blasts, each one more intense than the last, setting trees, cars, and parts of buildings ablaze. But Hulk, fueled by rage and a protective instinct for the city, dodged, blocked, and countered with thunderous punches. Each strike sent shockwaves through the streets, toppling alien drones Zarnok had deployed to assist in the attack. The drones exploded in arcs of red and orange energy, adding to the chaos but also diverting Zarnok's attention. Zarnok's strategy became clear. He wanted to test Hulk to see if raw strength could match his alien technology and pyrokinesis. He swung his staff in wide arcs, creating walls of fire that split the streets in two. Civilians fled to one side while Hulk smashed through the other, using his immense strength to absorb debris and shield people from harm. Every time Hulk collided with fire, smoke and embers swirled around him, painting him in shades of green and orange, a terrifying yet heroic silhouette. Hulk realized that Zarnok's power was not just physical, but also psychological. The alien reveled in fear, amplifying it through flames that hissed and twisted like living snakes. But Hulk's rage was pure and unrelenting. His mission was simple: protect his people, stop the alien, and prevent further destruction. As the two clashed, the park itself became a battlefield. Trees ignited under Zarnok's blasts, fountains boiled, and streets cracked under Hulk's massive jumps. At one point, Hulk grabbed a burning streetlight and swung it like a giant club, smashing several of Zarnok's drones in a single, thunderous arc. The impact sent a shockwave of energy rippling through the park, knocking the alien warlord back slightly but not stopping him. Zarnok retaliated with a concentrated beam from his staff, scorching the ground around Hulk, forcing him to leap high into the air. Sparks flew and fire rained down like molten rain. But Hulk, mid-leap, smashed into Zarnok directly, their collision sending both combatants tumbling through the air. Buildings shook, car alarms blared, and nearby civilians watched in terror and awe. Hulk quickly recovered and slammed his fists into the ground, creating a green shockwave that knocked Zarnok off balance. The alien roared, sending out smaller fire orbs that exploded harmlessly around Hulk. Using his strength and the environment to his advantage, Hulk grabbed a falling chunk of metal debris and hurled it like a javelin, striking Zarnok's crystalline armor. Cracks appeared on the alien's body, sparkling red and orange against his metallic surface. The first chapter of this epic confrontation ended with both combatants standing amidst flames, smoke, and debris, sizing each other up. Zarnok hissed, sparks flickering from his staff, while Hulk, chest heaving, green muscles glistening, let out a roar that shook the park. Both knew this fight was far from over, but Hulk had shown that raw strength, courage, and a protective heart could meet even the most devastating alien fire. The city had survived the first wave of the attack, but the battle had only begun. Hulk's presence alone gave hope to the terrified citizens, while Zarnok's fury promised that the streets of New York would soon become a war zone of fire, strength, and unstoppable heroism. Hulk vs. Zarnok, the epic showdown. The fires in Central Park roared higher than ever, casting flickering orange and red shadows across the shattered city streets. Smoke curled into the sky like serpents as terrified citizens fled to safety. But in the heart of the chaos, Hulk stood ready, green muscles tense, eyes blazing with fury. Across from him, Zarnok hovered, staff glowing violently, every movement radiating lethal energy. Zarnok wasted no time. With a flick of his crystalline staff, streams of molten fire shot toward Hulk, scorching the ground and igniting nearby debris. The Hulk roared in response, leaping over the fire, his immense strength leaving cracks in the asphalt where he landed. Each punch Hulk threw sent shockwaves that toppled alien drones and shattered parts of the battlefield. Sparks and flames collided with green energy, creating a chaotic storm of color and power. The Alien Warlord's strategy was relentless. He created walls of fire that twisted like serpents, trying to trap Hulk, and summoned energy drones that hovered like floating blades. Hulk smashed through them with bone-crushing punches, metal and alien circuits exploding around him. Zarnok's red eyes blazed, calculating each movement, trying to anticipate the Hulk's instinct-driven attacks. Hulk grabbed a burning lamppost, swung it like a massive club, and sent two drones flying into a nearby tree. Zarnok countered by slamming his staff into the ground, creating a shockwave of fire that hurled debris toward Hulk. Hulk dove, grabbing a fallen car and using it as a shield while closing the distance. The closer he got, the more vulnerable Zarnok became to Hulk's raw power. The battlefield became a dizzying spectacle. Explosions, fireballs, shattered concrete, and flying debris filled the air. Trees burned, fountains erupted, and shards of alien crystal littered the park. Hulk, in his relentless rage, smashed Zarnok's energy drones and blocked fire blasts with his bare hands. Each strike sent glowing fragments of alien technology flying, lighting up the night like a pyrotechnic display. Finally, Hulk closed the distance. With one earth-shaking leap, he grabbed Zarnok mid-air, swinging the alien warlord into the ground. Cracks spread across the pavement as the impact echoed through the park. Zarnok attempted to retaliate with his staff, releasing a concentrated fire beam, but Hulk twisted, using his sheer strength to redirect the energy into a nearby fountain, creating a massive explosion of steam and water. Hulk's fury was unstoppable. He slammed Zarnok into a row of abandoned drones, sending shards of crystal and fire scattering. Zarnok's staff broke under the force, leaving the alien vulnerable. Hulk seized the opportunity, delivering a series of devastating blows that sent Zarnok staggering backward. Each punch resonated like a thunderclap, shaking the nearby skyscrapers. The Alien Warlord tried one final desperate move, a massive energy blast, pulsing like a small sun, aimed directly at the Hulk. But Hulk roared, gathering his full power, and charged straight through it, green energy enveloping his entire body. The blast exploded around him, scorching the ground, but Hulk emerged unscathed, muscles glowing, eyes shining with unstoppable rage. With a final monumental effort, Hulk picked up Zarnok by the crystalline torso and hurled him into a containment field created by falling alien fragments, effectively trapping the warlord. Zarnok's red eyes glowed in frustration as the shards sealed him in a crystalline prison, rendering him immobile. The last drones were destroyed in the blast, and the fires began to subside. The park was a mess, trees scorched, fountains cracked, and smoke rising, but Hulk stood victorious. Citizens cautiously emerged, their eyes wide with awe and relief. The green giant let out a triumphant roar, echoing through the city, a reminder that even the most powerful alien invader could not overcome the raw strength and determination of the Hulk. As the smoke cleared, Hulk looked at the remnants of the battlefield, breathing heavily. His rage had driven him to incredible feats, but his mission had always been simple: protect the innocent and defend his city. Zarnok was defeated, the threat neutralized, and New York City survived to see another day. Hulk's victory and the people's celebration. The fires in Central Park had finally begun to die down, leaving behind smoldering debris, twisted metal, and shattered crystal from Zarnok's alien ship. Smoke curled into the night sky, illuminated by the flashing lights of emergency vehicles and the glow of the city skyline. Amidst the chaos, Hulk stood victorious, his green muscles heaving, eyes glowing faintly with residual energy from the battle. The alien warlord, Zarnok, was contained in a crystalline prison of his own shattered technology, powerless and defeated. Hulk looked around at the people emerging from their hiding places. At first, there was caution in their eyes. They had seen destruction, flames, and alien fire. But as they saw the green giant standing tall, protecting the city, relief and awe replaced their fear. Children peeked from behind cars, pointing in amazement, while adults whispered in disbelief, realizing they had witnessed a hero's triumph. The city slowly began to cheer. Shouts of "Hulk! Hulk!" echoed through the streets, blending with the distant sirens and crackling embers. Strangers hugged, neighbors clapped, and even firefighters paused in awe at the sight of a single being who had saved thousands from total devastation. Hulk's chest rose and fell with a satisfied roar, a sound that vibrated through the park and seemed to shake away the remnants of fear from everyone around. Even the air felt different now, charged with the energy of hope and survival. Hulk carefully approached Zarnok's crystalline prison and, with a subtle flex of his immense strength, ensured that it remained secure. The alien's red eyes glared with frustration, but the warlord was no longer a threat. Hulk had not only defeated him but had turned the battlefield into a symbol of protection. As the crowd grew bolder, some began to bring water hoses and blankets to help extinguish the lingering flames. Others helped clear debris from the streets. Hulk observed quietly, feeling the impact of his actions. The destruction was significant, but so was the message. The people of New York could endure, and their protector would always rise to defend them. In a rare moment of calm, Hulk allowed himself to revert to Bruce Banner, his human form emerging from the towering green giant. The transformation brought gasps from the crowd. They had seen him as an unstoppable force, and now they witnessed the mind behind the strength, a man who cared deeply for their safety. Banner smiled softly, exhausted but content, knowing that the city was safe once more. The celebration grew as citizens began to cheer, waving hands and signaling their gratitude. News helicopters circled above, capturing the scene of survival and resilience. Reporters shouted questions, but Banner only nodded politely, acknowledging the city he had saved. Even in the aftermath of chaos, he knew his role was more than fighting monsters. It was inspiring hope. As night fell fully over New York, the flames were finally extinguished, leaving the park and streets bathed in a soft, golden glow from streetlights. Hulk, now Banner, stood at the center of the park, looking at the city skyline. He thought of the lives he had saved, the destruction he had prevented, and the strength he had drawn from his own rage and courage. In that quiet moment, he realized something important. True power was not just in smashing enemies, but in protecting what mattered most. And for the people of New York, this night would never be forgotten. They would remember the day when a green giant rose from the chaos, fought an alien warlord, and restored hope to their city. For Hulk, the battle was over, but the bond between hero and city, forged in fire and victory, would endure forever.